Has anyone ever told you the harsh truth about life after 80? Crossing into your 80s brings a quiet, subtle shift that few people talk about. Not the surface-level things like birthdays or slower mornings, but the deeper, often unspoken changes. It's a time filled with both wisdom and loss, presence and distance, profound peace, and sometimes profound loneliness. And if you're not prepared for these shifts, they can catch you off guard, leaving you wondering, why didn't anyone tell me? In this video, we'll explore 5 brutal realities of life after 80. Not to scare you, nor to bring you down, but to offer clarity. Because when you recognize these truths before they fully arrive, you're no longer at their mercy. You can prepare for them, and you can face them with strength, rather than surprise. We'll talk about shrinking social circles, bodies that no longer bounce back like they used to, creeping dependence that feels uncomfortable even when necessary, the quiet way society begins to overlook you, and that strange ache that surfaces when old regrets meet too much time and too little purpose. Stay with us until the end, because while some of these truths may feel heavy, they also open the door to something powerful: acceptance, resilience, and the chance to shape the final chapter of your life with a dignity only you can define. Number 1. A social circle that quietly fades away. One of the first realities to hit after 80 isn't physical, it's relational. The people who once filled your world begin to disappear, often without warning. Friends pass away, neighbors move, siblings grow quieter. Even longtime companions who once called every week start calling only every few months. It's not personal. It's simply time. But it leaves a space that can feel hollow, no matter how strong or independent you are. You wake up one morning and realize the phone no longer rings like it used to. Invitations slow down. Family visits become shorter, more rushed. People still love you, but they're busy, distracted, or dealing with their own aging in different ways. Slowly, the everyday interactions that once filled your life with voices and laughter start thinning out. This isn't something anyone prepares you for. In your 60s and 70s, most people are still around. There's energy, movement, and check-ins. But after 80, something shifts. You begin to outlive people. You begin to outpace conversations. And that shift is so quiet that at first you might not even notice it's happened. I once knew a man named James, 85, who had a daily routine of visiting the same diner every morning. The staff knew his order by heart. His friends would meet him there without texting ahead. It was a comforting rhythm. But over time, those friends stopped coming. Some passed away, some moved away, and others simply stopped driving. One day, James told me, "It's strange to walk into a place where everyone used to know your name, and now you're just the man sitting at the corner table." The pain of that kind of loneliness isn't always loud. It doesn't always come with tears or visible grief. Sometimes it's just a long silence after dinner, or a walk that feels a little too quiet. It's realizing the list of people who truly know you is getting shorter, and you can't stop it. But knowing this reality means you can do something about it. You can open new doors, even when others have closed theirs. You can stay connected on your own terms, whether through a community group, a weekly lunch, a phone call you initiate, or even a handwritten letter. Because after 80, connection doesn't come to you the way it once did. You have to go find it. And that takes courage. But you've made it this far. You already have that courage within you. Number 2. A body that no longer bounces back. By the time you reach 82, your body no longer whispers. It speaks loudly and clearly. The small aches that once came and went now tend to linger. The fatigue that used to fade after a short rest can stretch into the next day. And here's the truth that often surprises many. After 80, even minor health issues can alter your life in an instant. You might wake up feeling well, go about your routine, and by evening, something feels off. A slight dizziness, a stiff knee, a cough that lingers longer than usual, and suddenly, you find yourself sitting in a doctor's office, hearing terms like monitoring, scans, or even possible admission. What used to be shrugged off with rest now demands serious attention. And often, there's no returning to how things once were. What makes this stage so challenging isn't only the physical pain, it's the unpredictability. You can do everything right. Eat balanced meals, move carefully, get enough sleep, yet still feel like your body is moving ahead of you, making decisions without your consent. A simple misstep on the stairs can lead to weeks of recovery. A stomach bug can drain your energy for days. And even after you recover, things rarely go back to normal. Your balance might feel unsteady. Breathing may require more effort. The resilience you once counted on has faded. I once met a woman named Evelyn, 83, sharp-minded and fiercely independent. She loved tending to her rooftop garden, taking leisurely walks around her neighborhood, and participating actively in her local book club. But after a minor fall while pruning a tree, everything changed. It wasn't the injury itself, she told me. It was the aftermath. Weeks of rest stretched into months of weakened strength. Her confidence wavered. "I thought I was just taking a short break," she said. "But my body treated it like a full stop." That's the part no one warns you about. After 80, rest doesn't always restore like it used to. Sometimes it initiates a decline, even when you're cautious. And sometimes, no matter how careful you are, your body chooses to slow down anyway. You begin to realize you're not bouncing back, you're adapting forward. But here's the strength in knowing this. You start honoring your energy more wisely. You learn to pace yourself, not from fear, but out of respect for all your body has carried you through. You treat health not as a guarantee, but as a daily, sacred practice. When you do that, even if the bounce is gone, your footing becomes steadier. You walk slower, but with greater awareness. You rest longer, but more intentionally. And you come to see that even a slower body can carry a strong spirit. If you're still watching and find these insights meaningful, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss future videos. Your support empowers us to keep creating content that informs and inspires. Now, moving on. Number 3. An increasing need for assistance. No matter how independent you've been, one of the hardest truths after 80 is this. You start needing help with things you once did effortlessly. It doesn't happen suddenly. It creeps in quietly, subtly, until one day you notice. You avoid reaching for the top shelves. You grip the handrail a little tighter. You hesitate before driving in bad weather. And even if part of you still feels capable, another part knows some things aren't as easy anymore. What makes this reality especially difficult isn't just the physical change. It's the emotional shift. For those who've spent decades caring for others, the thought of becoming the one who needs help can feel deeply uncomfortable. You may begin feeling like a burden, or hide your struggles, skipping errands, not telling your children you stumbled, trying to fix things yourself, even when pain nags at you. The desire to remain independent doesn't vanish. If anything, it grows stronger. But the truth is, independence after 80 looks very different than it did at 60. It's no longer about doing everything alone. It's about knowing when to ask for help and being brave enough to accept it. I knew a man named Leonard, 86, who took great pride in managing everything himself. He had survived decades of hardships, raised a family, built his own workshop from scratch with just determination and wood scraps. But one winter, he slipped on icy steps outside his home. No broken bones, just bruised pride. He kept quiet, but his daughter sensed something was wrong. She began visiting weekly, bringing groceries and sharing coffee. At first, Leonard resisted. "I'm fine," he insisted. But gradually, that coffee ritual became a source of comfort. And eventually, he admitted something that surprised even him. "It's nice not having to carry everything alone." That's the shift. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. Accepting help is not losing independence, it's protecting it. Because when you let someone assist you climbing stairs, driving to appointments, or carrying heavy bags, you're actually giving yourself more years to do what truly matters. And help doesn't always have to come from people. It can be simple supports, a grab bar in the bathroom, a sturdy chair in the kitchen, a reminder on the fridge. These small aids don't diminish your dignity, they preserve it. After 80, the bravest words might just be, "I could use a hand." Because as you age, the greatest strength you can show is choosing safety over pride, peace over struggle, and connection over isolation. Number 4. A presence the world begins to overlook. One of the more painful realities of life after 80 isn't about your body or your memory. It's about your presence. Gradually, you start to feel invisible. Maybe not to those who love you, but to the world around you. The cashier glances past you to the person behind. The doctor speaks to your grown child instead of addressing you. The waiter assumes you can't hear, think, or decide for yourself. At first, it's subtle. Then it happens more often. And even if you try to ignore it, it sinks deep. Because no matter how old we get, we all want to be seen. And after a lifetime of work, family, choices, and weathering storms, it's shocking to feel dismissed just because your skin has wrinkled or your hair has silvered. What hurts even more is that it's rarely meant to harm. It's the fast pace of a world that forgets slow steps still carry stories. A society obsessed with youth that forgets the strength required to reach this age. And unless you speak up, you risk shrinking. Not because your voice is gone, but because others stop listening. I remember a woman named Margaret, 87, who volunteered at a historic library. One afternoon, a visitor asked the staff a question she could answer without hesitation. After all, she had lived through that very era. But the question sailed right past her. When I asked how she felt, she simply smiled and said, "I'm used to it." Yet, there was sadness in that smile, the kind that comes from being seen as furniture instead of fire. But you are not furniture. You are not background. You are still here, thinking, contributing, living. And just because the world sometimes forgets, doesn't mean you have to. So what can you do? You speak anyway. You ask questions. You share your opinions. You vote. You tell your stories, even if no one asks. You stand up, even if your knees tremble. Because every time you claim your space, you remind the world and yourself that you are not done. You are not invisible. You are a living archive, a witness to time, a voice that still matters. You don't have to shout to be heard. You just have to refuse to disappear. If you're still watching and find these truths meaningful, please comment number 4 below to show you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss future videos. Your support helps us keep creating content that informs and inspires. Now, moving on. Number 5. A sense of regret, if purpose isn't redefined. As you journey deeper into your 80s, a strange stillness settles inside. Not just in your home or daily routine, but within your spirit. Life slows down. The calendar isn't as busy. And with that, quiet comes space. A space to reflect, remember, and replay. This can be beautiful, but if you're not mindful, it can grow heavy. Not loud or dramatic, but quiet. The kind that whispers, "I wish I'd spent more time with them." The kind that asks, "Why didn't I take that chance when I had it?" The kind that visits when time is plentiful, but energy and freedom are scarce. This isn't spoken about much. We celebrate the wisdom of aging, the freedom of retirement, the joy of grandchildren, and all that is true. But so is the lingering question that often goes unvoiced. What now? If you've spent a lifetime working, giving, raising, serving, and then it all stops, it can feel like your purpose fades with it. I knew a man named Harold, 89, who taught school for over 4 decades. After retirement, he felt proud, but strangely hollow. "No one needs me anymore," he said once. But that wasn't true. He just hadn't yet found a new way to be needed. Because purpose doesn't retire. It changes form. Maybe you don't build projects anymore, but you build confidence in your great-grandchildren through your stories. Maybe you don't lead meetings, but you lead with presence when someone grieves. Maybe you don't solve big problems, but you heal loneliness with a smile to your neighbor. The danger of regret isn't that mistakes were made. We all have them. It's sitting in them too long without transforming them into something meaningful. But when you redefine purpose, not as productivity but as presence, you begin to see that you still have so much to give, not only to others but to yourself. Because the most important work you do after 80 may not be for legacy or applause. It may be waking up with kindness in your heart, curiosity in your eyes, and courage enough to ask, "How can I bring light today, even if just a little?" That is not regret. That is redemption, and it's never too late to find it. Reaching your 80s is no small milestone. It's a landmark built on decades of love, loss, effort, change, and resilience. Yet, with that strength come new challenges, some subtle, others impossible to ignore. Facing these realities doesn't make you weak. It makes you honest. It means you've lived long enough to see life as it truly is, unpredictable, sometimes unfair, but always deeply worth showing up for. So, which of these 5 realities resonated with you the most? Was it the silence that creeps in as your social circle shrinks? The frustration of a body that no longer rebounds like it once did? The uneasy feeling of needing help when you've spent a lifetime being the helper? Or perhaps the invisible sensation when the world moves too fast to notice you? Or the ache that grows when your purpose feels unclear? Whatever touched your heart, I hope you felt seen, because the truth is, you are not alone, not in slowing down, not in moments of forgetfulness, not in the restless questions that visit you at night, nor in the moments when you wonder what lies ahead. And here's the hopeful truth. Even now, at this stage, you still have choice. You can choose connection. You can choose rest. You can choose to ask for help. You can choose to speak louder when you're overlooked, and softer when grace is needed. You can choose to forgive yourself for what didn't happen and honor yourself for what did. This chapter of life is not the end. It's the deepest part of the story. The part where every word carries weight. Where small gestures matter more than grand ones ever did. Where your presence, patience, and perspective become your greatest strengths. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below, sharing one insight you gained and how you plan to bring it into your life. Your thoughts matter deeply to us and inspire us greatly. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support allows us to continue creating meaningful content to inform and uplift you. Thank you for watching. We look forward to seeing you in the next video.